Imagine this: tomorrow, if oil stops, the world stops. Flights stop. Factories stop. Food supply breaks down because the modern economy runs on one thing: oil, the invisible engine of the world. Most people think oil is just fuel for cars, but oil is actually the invisible engine of modern life. Your phone? Oil. Plastic bottles, medicines, fertilizers, cosmetics. Even the roads you drive on are made using petroleum products. Oil powers three major things. 1. Transportation. 2. Manufacturing. 3. Agriculture. Almost 90% of global transportation runs on oil. Ships that carry food across oceans, trucks that deliver goods to cities, planes that connect the world. Without oil, the global supply chain breaks overnight. The hidden connection with food. Here's something most people don't realize. Oil doesn't just power cars, it powers food production. Modern farming depends on diesel tractors, oil-based fertilizers, transport trucks, refrigeration systems. That means your food depends on oil. If oil prices rise, food prices usually rise too. This is why whenever oil prices spike, inflation rises across the world. Oil affects almost every product we buy. Where most of the oil actually is now. Here's where the story becomes interesting. Oil is not evenly distributed around the world. A massive portion of the world's oil reserves sits in the Middle East. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, UAE together control a huge share of the world's oil underground. Think of oil reserves like money in a bank account. The Middle East has a very large savings account of oil. Some fields there have been producing oil for over 70 years and still have huge reserves left. This means these countries can produce oil cheaply and for a very long time. Why the US produces the most oil? Now here's the surprising part. The United States is the biggest oil producer in the world today. This happened because of something called the shale oil revolution. New drilling technologies allowed the US to extract oil trapped in rocks. Places like Texas and North Dakota suddenly started producing huge amounts of oil. But there is an important difference. Many US shale wells decline very quickly. They produce a lot of oil at first, but production drops fast. This means companies have to keep drilling new wells constantly. So even though the US produces a lot of oil today, its reserves are not as easy or as cheap to produce as Middle Eastern oil. Who exports the most oil? Now here is another important piece of the puzzle. Producing oil and exporting oil are not the same thing. The United States consumes a huge amount of oil domestically. Cars, trucks, airplanes, factories. America uses a lot of its own oil. But countries like Saudi Arabia export far more oil. Saudi Arabia is one of the largest oil exporters in the world. Other major exporters include Russia, Iraq, UAE, and Canada. These exporters supply oil to countries that don't produce enough themselves. This global trade keeps the world economy moving. Why the US still cares about Middle East oil? So if the US produces the most oil, why does it still care about Middle Eastern oil? Because oil prices are global. Even if America produces its own oil, if supply in the Middle East is disrupted, global prices rise everywhere. And when oil prices rise, transport becomes expensive. Food becomes expensive. Inflation rises. The global economy slows down. So stability in major oil-producing regions is critical for the world economy. Why oil moves the world economy? Let's imagine oil prices suddenly double. What happens? Transport becomes expensive, factories become expensive, food becomes expensive. This creates global inflation, stock markets fall, economic growth slows, governments panic. That's why oil is often called the lifeblood of the global economy, because when oil moves, the entire world economy moves with it. The real power of oil. So the next time you hear on the news that oil prices are rising, or there is tension in the Middle East, remember something important. This is not just about fuel. It's about power over the global economy. Because when oil becomes expensive, transport becomes expensive. And when transport becomes expensive, everything becomes expensive. Food, flights, manufacturing, daily life. That's why economists often say, oil is the blood of the global economy. And whoever controls that blood supply can influence the entire world. This is why understanding oil is not just about energy. It's about understanding how the world really works. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel where we break down the real forces that move the global economy. Because the more you understand money, the more control you have over your financial future. Past returns do not guarantee future performance. Always do your own research and speak to a licensed professional before making investment decisions.